Man, this project took way too long. The F1 2025 campaign has basically ended, and the 2026 one isn't all that far away, with a car presentation basically around the corner. Earlier this year, when the title was long from being decided, I decided to challenge myself on GT7, using one of the most meme cars released this year, the Renault Kangoo, or at least just before they released the Suzuki Carry. Literally the update after that. That thing is literally a ramming truck that you can race on. Before we start with the liveries, we have to prepare our little van. New bumper, new side, new rear, an all-important rear wing, a roll cage, new tires, new lights, and a new frontal grid. And I think we're done. Now, some of you may already understand what we're doing today, but I'll tell you it anyway. I'm making all the 2025 F1 liveries on a Renault Kangoo. And we'll immediately start with Ferrari. There's not a particular order we're doing this, but I'm Italian. Ovvio che inizio con la Ferrari, cazzo. Starting with a full red van, a white rear wing, and making the other category full black. We'll then continue with the stickers, and we'll make the white stripe that is very characteristic to the 2025 Ferrari. And we'll also have to do this process 2 times, because the side of the Kangoo is divided in 2 different categories. The car one, which is the one we'll edit the most, and also the car window category. After that, we can also add one of the ugliest sponsors we've seen in recent years. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not really big fan of this year's livery, especially when we consider what was the 2024 one. For the roof of the car, my first idea was just to black it out, but then I decided to continue with the white stripes, and I think it's much better. It's now time for the sponsors. Shell first, then Seva, Peroni, and last but not least, Ray-Ban. Even though I had some problem with the placing, which I've quickly fixed by making them smaller. If you want to do a livery on GT7 and you mess a sticker up like in this case, my general advice is to make things smaller. And also deleting the first one you placed and copy on the other side. It's now time for the racing numbers of the pilots. In this case, Charles Leclerc. White number on the window, honestly quite easy. Unicredit logo over the number, and we then come to the front of the car, specifically the hood. The first idea was to put Leclerc number here, but then I changed my mind. GT7 gives you the tool to also put a sticker on the front window of the car, and that's the place where put every racing number of every livery features in this video. And so, we can now completely fill the hood with sponsors. The prancing horse on the side, how could I forget that? And now we have some sponsor on what is essentially the front wing of the car, even though it's quite different, but that's what we're working today. We also continue with the ugliest sponsor in existence. My first idea was to put it there in what was essentially the hood, but then I switched it around a bit to match what I thought was best. In fact, I actually switched around some colors a bit. I made the front grid black and the front wing, if we can call it that way, completely white, matching what was the real car. I experimented a bit before coming to this conclusion though. In the end I settled for this, near the original position, but technically on the right place. It's now time to place other sponsor. HCL Softwares, AWS, IBM, Celsius Live Fit, and some more Unicredits. We shift our focus to the rear wing. We put some HP logos, probably the only nice placement on the entire car. We make the back portion of the rear wing blue, and we put some IBM logos on it. In the rear Ferrari, there's only one, but in this case, I think it's okay if we make 2. The shape of the rear wing is completely different from an F1 car, so it's more readable this way. The front window sticker feels kinda empty, so I went on for an HP logo and a Ferrari logo. Do you remember when in 2024 Ferrari had the Ferrari text on the rear wing? That was so beautiful. That car was goated, really. Ferrari also had quite a few underside stickers, like VistaJets, SKF, Brembo, and quite a lot more. Differently from all other teams, which have the FIA logo on the nose of the car, near the suspension of the front tires, Ferrari has it at the back, and so we're replicating it. We then come to the back of the car. We put Shell V-Powers on the plate, and then put up some Unique Credits logos, and then we put a black stripe on the lower part, and then we put some B&O sponsors on there. Some more detailings here and there, and I think the car is basically done. And for being the first project, I think it turned out pretty good. We immediately start with another titan of the series, RedBull Racing. For the base colors, I didn't go too crazy. I've used this very dark blue and blacked out all of the other categories. We immediately start with the stickers, and how could I not start with the unique RedBull logo on the front? I've done this by basically making the entire front of the car yellow, and then by using the unique RedBull logo, synonymous of strength, speed and adrenaline, even though it looks a little bit better on the rear car. Still, I've done worse things in my life. Still working on the front wing, I'll put some sponsor in it, a RedBull logo on the plate, AT&T and Mobile One, even putting their little Pegasus on their side, on what is essentially the end plate on this car. We now come to the hood, and I started to fill this bad boy up to the brim. RedBull does have a lot of sponsor, and I'm probably realizing only now. Big RedBull logo here over the front window, and we can now start to decorate the sticker here. RedBull sticker on the center and a big fat number 1 for Verstappen on the right. We then come to the rear wing of the car, a big gate.io and then a oracle on the back. After also blacking out the windows on the side of the car, we can start working on the body by putting another RedBull logo. This is supposed to represent the one that is placed on the air intake over the pilot cockpit. And of course I'm doing this work twice for all the problems that the windows are creating. GT7 should have an option to copy a layer on another category of the car. This will make jobs like these 10 times easier. We'll now put the big guy in place, the big Oracle sponsorship on the side. And after putting some other sponsor here and there, I noticed that the RedBull car has a red stripe in the middle, so I started working to recreate it. Wasn't all that difficult, I just had to move some sponsor here and there in a better position. But I think the result makes this livery 10 times better. Now I just had to copy it on other categories, and still the option copy on other category would be really appreciated here. We then continue with the back of the car. For starters, a big 1 on the side windows, it feels like a glove, and then a Heineken logo just below it. Moving to the back of the car, I decided to change things back a bit. The Oracle logo on the rear wing is gone, and now the sponsoring will be on the plate, which makes it quite easier to see. Here I decided to be a little artistic, and I decided to try to copy the Simply Cola sponsorship on the inside of the rear wing. So I decided to fill up this lower area of the back, and then started placing the blue parts and the red parts, obviously putting the right sponsor on the right plates, so RedBull Organics on the blue and Simply Cola on the red. The last thing I put is a Mobile One logo. Even though it's not really the right one, it still works. And after the last details, the second livery is done. We'll start with another team, Mercedes-AMG Petronas, another team that doesn't need any presentation. And we'll do so by making the car full black, and by starting immediately with the stickers. And this time, we'll start by the roof, as we'll make it completely grey, as well as the hood. Joked around with some shapes here, could have done it a little bit better, maybe, but it still works, so it's alright. We'll then continue with the front wing, as we'll put 2 Petronas light blue bars, as well as 2 of their logos. We'll continue with some more sponsors here and there, like TeamViewer, EWC and Heinel, and we'll then come to the main dish of this livery, the 2 stripes that run across the entire car. I had to make some try and error here, as I never tried to recreate them on any livery I did before. After some work though, I think I made them stick, as they did on the original livery. They aren't 100% perfect, but as you see on the other liveries, the car is nowhere near similar to an F1 car, so I think it's the best I got. We'll complete this work with a big Petronas logo on the side. And some adjustment to the door handles. as they're still on another category, so they didn't get the stickers to lay down properly. The 2025 Mercedes also has a shade of grey where the AMG logo is, and so we recreated here. Struggle a bit with this part, as he also had to fit the Petronas light blue line, but with some works I made it stick. It's now time to put another incredibly important part of this livery, the shaded star field, we can call it, which has been a staple of this team liveries for the past few years, with some changes here and there, some better and some worse. After completing this, I switched my attention to some of the sponsors, like Solera and TeamViewer on the side. And I also tried to recreate the grey shaded portion near the air intake where the pilot head is. In other cars, this portion has been dark red for the Ineos colors, but for the scandals of the company in recent times, they just straight up remove it. I don't particularly like this grey, I prefer the red, but this is what we're working with. We also put the numbers on this car, and will be the one and only Osama bin Russell. We also remove some of the stars on the pattern, as I did on the real car. We also start to work on the hood of the car, as we'll put the Mercedes logo on it, and it looks very cursed near the Renault logo, the SAP logos, the Acodis logo, and the CrowdStrike one. And after some mix and match, I found a configuration that works best. We'll also start working on the sticker on the front window using an AMG logo, a Russell number, and a Petronas logo. I've also tried to do something with the Petronas Team logo and the G42 logo over the front window. I don't know if it's nice or not, I might remove it in the future. Continuing towards, this time on the back, we continue with the star pattern we've made on the back portion of the side, so that the design is more complete. Some more sponsoring and detailing here and there, and I think this livery is also complete. Probably my least favorite of the one I've made so far, I could probably rank them. So, for now, RedBull is the best, Ferrari the second, and Mercedes is the last one. Forgot to say before that, but for every team I made, I also made a version for every driver that races on said team. So in this case, I also made an Antonelli version, a Tsunoda and also one for RedBull, and a Hamilton one for Ferrari. One tire change later, and we'll work on the defending champion, McLaren. Different from what you might think, we'll start with a completely black car, and work our way to our full livery with a big use of stickers. Starting from the hood, which I make full orange, with some exception here and there, especially on the two top angles. I did this so I could recreate the blue parts, which are present near the cockpit of the car, and where the Avenga and Alwyn stickers are present. These are more visible from the cameras that face the pilot, but you can still see them from a top view of the car. These are simple details, but I really like how they turned out, and will look even better when we put more stickers on it. I then start to work on the side of the car, especially the back portion. The real-life McLaren car has these triangles on the back, completely orange. They're okay, the car itself is good, but it kinda reminds me of an IGP manager livery. Yeah, me and my friend were probably the only people playing that game, and we're pretty proud to be the ones doing so. We'll continue with the side portion of the car, but more specifically, the part near the windows, as we put some Boozer sponsorship here. Tried my best to recreate something that was pretty similar to the original design, although we cannot do miracles. We'll extend this design also to the top part of the window and also to the roof part, as this makes a nice transition and makes the designs come together a lot more. It's now time to play around with the sponsors. First is Alwyn in his iconic blue, and also Avenga on the mirror, still in blue. Some FX Pro on the top part of the mirror, and I think the first part is done. We'll continue with the sponsor, first with DP World on this purple-ish color, then the small timber rain near the lights, and coming to the front, the newest sponsor and title sponsor for 2026, MasterCard. We'll focus best car attention to the side. As I said before, we'll put Vuse on this orange part near the window, OKX a little bit lower, another important sponsor for the team, and also one of the few cryptocurrency sponsors to have survived. Remember when in 2022 or 2023, when they thought that cryptocurrency sponsors were the new cigarette sponsors, as they were basically everywhere? On one side I loved it, but on the other side was kinda sad. It's now time to add the big guy to the sponsor tally, the Chrome logo, another important sponsor for the team and one that features multiple Chrome variants of the livery. Adding number 4 to the Raving World Champion, even though he will use number 1, but at the time of me making this livery we still didn't know. And and this is where the file corrupts. Yeah, I've got some corruption problem while making these liveries, I don't know why. I made this on my PS5, but when it was time to put it on my USB drive, they just didn't want to do it. And this happened not only with these liveries, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, here it is, the finished livery. Most of the things you didn't see were on the hood, as I put quite a lot of sponsor in it, like FX Pro, WebEx and Hilton. Wasn't able to put the Walt, but that wasn't on me, it was for the problem with the Walt and GT7, which is a pretty strange story, I suggest you check it out. But anyways, here it is, the completed McLaren KANGOOS livery. For the ranking, I really like this honestly. I don't know if I like it more than RedBull, but I don't think I do, but it's still a good second place. Next one on the list, Aston Martin. Probably the most mid team on the grid. Really, Aston Martin has been so painfully average this season. Alonso has been average, some signs of speed here and there, but very inconsistent. Stroll has been mid, even though it's kinda a good thing for him. Pit stops were mid, the car was mid, everything was mid. This though doesn't stop us from making their livery. I started with the yellow line that cut across the entire car and basically keeps the entire livery together. I made it go down to make some space for the Boss sponsorship, which in the rear car is near the air intake on the side, and I also curve it to make it follow the shape of the tire. And I think this is the closest thing we can get to the rear car. Next part is to black out everything below the line. Told you that the line was what keeps the livery together, and now it's just full on sponsoring. First is Boss and Sentinel-1, which we put on the small green space we created for them, and the vital Aston Martin logo, which I really like the placement on the real car, but also on this replica. We also put Cognizant in place, once a very important sponsor, and also title sponsor, now fell off the grace of the James Bond preferred manufacturer, and also Circulate and Puma near it. We continue with Aramco, which takes a big portion of the editable surface, and also Valvoline. Time for the banner, and we create the one of one of the best rookies in the last 20 years, along with Citibank on the other side. We then continue with the front of the car, completely blacking it out, putting an Aston Martin logo on the plate, and a small Union Jack below it. More Aramco logos, as there are enough on the car, and some more on the rear wing also, as we come to the front of the car. As we'll put Valvoline, Regent, Xerox, Cognizant and Bombardier. And after this selection of great sponsor, we'll come back to the top part of the side, as we'll put a white part in it and put the Madine sponsor. This was one of the last sponsors to take part to the Aston Martin project, but fastly becomes synonymous with the team. Now, my first idea was to create the Aston Martin of the start of the year, the one with the Madine sponsorship on the hair intake and the Aston Martin on the side, but then I changed my mind, as I thought that this livery was a bit too empty. So here, I decided for a big Madine sponsorship on the center and a Core Reeve logo on the white part. Coming to the back of the van, we'll continue with the line and black out everything beneath it, put some smaller logo in place, putting some bigger sponsor on the back, and this was exactly the perfect way to finish this livery. I just took a moment to also create the Stroll livery, and then we can admire it in all of its glory. For the ranking, I would say a third place, after the McLaren. A good livery, but not the best. After this livery, we continue with Pierre Gasly Race. No, sorry, that wasn't it. What was the name again? Oh yeah, Alpine F1 team. I went for a completely blue design with black mirrors and a pink rear wing. First thing I've done was a decoration on the hood to recreate what the Alpine has on the nose. I've continued with the front grill, and I handled this by putting a big BWT logos on the front. Focusing on the plate, my first idea was to put an Alpine logo, but I didn't really like it, it didn't really fit. So I went for an A525 logo, which is still present on the real car. Some other stuff on the end plates, and we can start working on the body of the car by creating this black zone on the side. This still is a reference to the real life cars, and also a place where we can put sponsors, like Infinox, Mercado Libre and Candles, as long as other close to it, like Moser Watch and Binance. We then moved to the side of the car, with MSC Cruises, BWT and Any as the three titans of this livery. Then it's time for some lesser known sponsors, like Modo Casino and ApeCoin. Now the most artistic part of the livery starts, the Alpine Big A on the back of the car. This took quite a lot of time and quite a lot of layers, even working on different categories of the car. The result at the end though, I think it was worth it. I think I captured what makes this part of the livery so great. However, after completing this enormous work, I realized something. The number on the rear car is placed after the big A logo. My first idea was to tear everything down, but after all the thing I've done, honestly I didn't really want to do it, so I had to work around it a bit. And so that's why I created this back portion at the back of the car. And honestly, I really like how it looks. It's perfectly fitted inside of the livery. And after a fast copy on the other side section, a BWT changed the word Step by Step logo near his big brother on the side, a recording crashed out. Great. Well, I guess I'll let you see the completed liveries. The biggest changes are on the hood, as I completely filled it with sponsors like Microsoft, Mobilize, Arctic Wolf, BWT and many more. On the back I also put an MSC logo, an Alpine logo and some Aero to the car. On the bumper side I also put some Ada Cosmetics and a Copilot on the back of the rear wing. I've also put every small sponsor that is present below the side pods on the rear car and two BWT logos on the rear wing. For the ranking, I really like how this turned out, especially on the back of the car, so I'd say a third place is deserved. This van is probably faster than the real car. Like Fan Capital, Betway, Jackpot. Williams, probably the dark horses of 2025, are the next to be kangoofied. This year, the team featured a car with shaded colors that started with a dark blue and faded to a more light one, and this is exactly what we recreate here. After perfectioning this, we focus our attention on the side, as you probably didn't really notice throughout the season, but this car also has a line that runs across all of its body. It was a bit tricky to pull off, especially on the back, but I managed to create a decent design, and after completing it by obscuring the windows and also putting the gradient on it, we can start working on the stickering. Kinda like the Alpine, we put a crap ton of stickers on the hood, but all present on the rear car, so it's most similar to it as possible. The most notable one are Santander, Golf, Reviva and Komatsu. Continuing with the wing, we put some Atlassian and my ProChain logos on it, and we also put a white striper running across it, as is present on the real front wing of the real car, and keeps everything together real nicely. Can't also forget about the sponsor near the line, like Fan Capital, Betway, Jackpot City and NMC. Then it's time for my ProChain and Komatsu, the two sponsors that adorn the sides of the car, and I always found quite strange how Williams have two sponsors instead of one on the side pods. They managed the space in a very clever way. Speaking of clever, we've also come to one of the favorite things about this livery, the Duracell air intake, which I made with this battery pile that I found on the sticker menu, with these things, which I don't really know the name of, but they make everything look more like a battery, and a big Duracell logo stick on it. Continuing to work on the side, we've put a big Atlassian logo where the windows are, a 55 for the smooth operator, and a Goof logo. Atlassian logo on the rear wing, and coming to the back, we put a Kraken on the plate and two Fan Capital on the bumper. I'll also swap out the 55 number for the 23 of Alex Albon, as that's the number I put on the banner on the front window. Jesus Christ. And I think we're done. If I had to rate it, I think it would be a 5th place. Not because it's bad, but because the others are better. One last thing, you're also making the Carlos Sainz livery, as I wrongfully did before, and we can go on with the next one. Which is Haas, the only American team on the grid, but not for long. They've always used white or grey color scheme with some accent of red, so this is another livery where they have to be artistic. And as you see here, I created a black border on the lower part of the side. On this border we'll put a red line. After that, we'll use an Haas logo to take measurement to continue this line, that will then go up and end in a spike. After blacking out the majority of the car, and also adjusting the dimension of the Haas logo, which I also have to adjust a little bit for the white on the door handles, a job that was longer than I thought it would be, as quite a lot of letters in the logo were in contact with them. Fortunately, it wasn't as boring as it may look like, but anyway, after doing this, was still a job of blacking everything out, which I made with some adjusting to the depth and the circularity of the stickers. But it was now time to throw some sponsors into the mix. First is Orion 180, which I hope to have pronounced it right, then was Emphasis on the top of the mirror and Zoomix on the lower part of the side. We then continue to design, in this case, this red stripe on black background in what is supposed to be the end plate, then putting the whole front red and putting the big guy, Monogram. Continuing with the design, we focus our attention on the hood, as we create this black and red zone on the top. But why doing this, you may ask? One simple reason: Monogram. Some other sponsors like Emphasis and Conoscope are also here. It's also time to work on the banner, as Tricorp and Toyota Gas Racing slams their way onto here. Okay, we delayed this way too much. It's now time to put the biggest sponsor on this car. No presentation needed, as you can see it on screen. The last piece of design, I swear this is the last one, and it's for the racing number. The last thing we put is the trio sponsor: Alpine Star, Travis Matthew, and Tricorp. And after the last detailing, I think this livery is also done. For the ranking, I honestly really like this, so I'd say this is the best livery I've done for now. We're down to the last two liveries, and they're the two with the most strange names. We first have Visa Cashup, RB, Poste Italiane, Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, RedBull, something, F1 team. Anyway, we'll start from the hood, where we recreate the RedBull logo on the front, like we did several liveries ago. And after breaking out the remaining parts of the front, but only skipping this part, on what is the end plate, to put some sponsor in it, and we'll continue with the sponsors on the front wing, where I put Cash Up, Hugo below the lights, and RedBull just below it. We then come to the hood, where we put HRC, RedBull, Dynatrace, another Cash Up logo, which is like the 100 on this livery, a Hugo Boss near the bull, a Tudor on the rear wing, and then take a wild guess at what happened. Erupted Files once again, yay! So here it is, the full livery of the Visa Cash Up RB, with the big Visa logo on the side, and the faded RB balls were easier to do than you might think. A Mori one and some Hugo logos on the back. Yeah, nothing too crazy honestly, and so for this I won't give it a high rank, not because it's ugly, but because there's just better options. The last livery should have been the Steak F1 team. Unfortunately, take another wild guess of what happened, and this time I lost every footage I have of the livery designing, so here it is, the last livery. Still nothing too crazy. The most interesting part is the shade of the fluoro green and double steak logo, which I personally don't like. In my opinion, they should have done a steak logo and a kick logo, but alright. So for the last ranking, yeah, I won't put it very high, probably 9th position. And with that, this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Tell me in the comments if you like these liveries and how would you rank them. And so, see you next one.